Yo, what's going on, y'all? It is your favorite businessman CEO on Let's Hash It Out. So, I'm glad I got y'all tonight. Y'all already know every Friday night, 10 o'clock, we on, baby. So, I'm just letting what we got. We got Facebook, we got YouTube, we got Instagram. We're on Instagram to load up right now. So, just give me a minute. There we go. Instagram, we going live, baby. Instagram is real irritating when it comes to live streaming from a software because it's like a big delay between the two. So it's very frustrating. So tonight, we got a few different topics that we're going to go into, and they definitely are interesting. But I wanna know, how has y'all week been? Let me know how y'all been. What's been going on with y'all? What's been new with y'all? What's been cracking in those streets? On my end, what's been cracking on the streets is a lot of mess, you know. There's good things and bad things, you know, as life goes. But we got to keep it cracking. Oh, so we're going to be operating in a different way moving forward. Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking when it comes to the structure of the show and, you know, just doing my own research, seeing the way that other streams go and just looking at the flow of things, you know, because you're always supposed to be a student of the game, right? So just simply watching as the flow of the other structure, the other shows, I'm about to set up a certain structure on how we're going to operate, right? So what we always going to start with is we're going to always start with politics. Reason for that is because, one second. What?
Don't you like a walkie on?
Baby, I'm live. I'm not talking on the walkie.
But don't you got on?
Yes, but I'm not talking on it.
So you hear me for that?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Baby, get out. I'm live, like people watching.
Wait.
Only son, bye. Love you. My little man's. Close the door, thank you. But so we always gonna start with politics, right? Now the reason we gonna start with politics is because as a business person, before I didn't like politics for my own reasons. However, I understand the importance of politics. And on here, you know, we all CEOs when we come here, you know, creating executive opportunities. So everything that I learned, I want to come back and I want to kick it with y'all. And I want to anything that I learn, anything that I'm checking out, whatever, I want to bring it back to y'all and I want to chop it up about it because the more that I learn, the more y'all gonna learn. The more that y'all learn, the more informed decisions that y'all can actually make moving forward. Politics is one of those things, whether you like it or you don't, it's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. So we're gonna rock it out there. After that segment of the show, we're gonna go into either whatever somebody sends us, send me to review, or wherever I found, you know, whether it's relationship, whether it's parenting, anything like that, then we're gonna rock it out, we're gonna roll like that. So I want to get into the first thing of the show. I'm about to pull it up right now. So we're actually going to do a review on what's been going on with Trump. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Trump for their own reasons. And at the end of the day, you know, people reasons are their reasons. I know a lot of people, they don't like him for their own personal feelings. I don't necessarily agree with it. However, I still respect anybody's opinion. I mean, because it's your opinion, so it's kind of like, you know, whatever. However, Trump is definitely doing a lot of, I'm gonna say, beneficial things when it comes to the country. Literally, he came in and he's been in. It's the 14th. What? It's not even. It's not even a full month yet. I think it's only been what, 3 weeks, and he has came in and did a hell of a lot, as far as with Doge, as far as with the economy. Not granted, he has found a ton of money as far as what the government has been overspending. Now, and I'm actually bringing this one up. I'm gonna bring this fact up real quick because I don't, whether you know or not, whether you know or not, I want y'all to see what the U.S. debt is. Because I feel like it's extremely important. So let's stream it. Hold on, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Share screen, bam. Let's rock. Check this out. So simply looking at that, right? This is legit the real US debt clock. As you can see, the US debt is steady running up, but it's $36 trillion. $36 trillion. So right here, all in this area, that is our debt. So if you look at the debt per citizen, it's $107,000. Debt per taxpayer, $323,000. Mind you, because everybody don't pay taxes. But looking at that, you clear first and foremost, guys, everybody don't even make $100,000 a year. The average, listen, let me see if it even has it on here. Look at this. Medicare, Medicaid. Look at what's that? 1,000. This is bam, million, billion. So 1.6 trillion. Social Security, 1.4 trillion. Defense is, am I looking at that right? Hundreds, thousands, millions. Yeah, that's billions. Interest on the debt. Look at the interest on the debt. Like, these numbers are astronomical, right? So this is why I honestly believe we need to talk and have a conversation about it, because it's important. So that's why we're going to talk politics. So hold on, I'm still queuing it up. Get my downloads here. Bam. Hold on, give me a second, because I got them all ready. So I'm trying to see why it's not popping up. One second. Getting all fussy. Where the fuck is these downloads at, bro? Is it on my other channel? Guys, I got 2 channels. And it shouldn't be on there at all, but it might be. All right, you know what? Don't worry about it. We gonna load it up regularly. I had all this queued up already. I don't know why it's not automatically popping up. Some BS, tell you that much. All right, bet. All right, so we about to go ahead and get into this first one, which is Elon. And we are actually going to go over the entire video, 31 minutes, and we're going to add our commentary to it, because it's extremely important that we know what's going on. Now, I know you guys probably seen in the news where you have, the political parties, where a lot of the people are complaining about Elon and what he's doing. Now, I want to remind y'all, they always going to play on y'all feelings and y'all emotions when it comes to politics. Now, this is one of the reasons why I like Trump and Elon. Now understand this. I'm not necessarily saying I like them personally. I like how they're operating business-wise. So I want to make that very clear. It's not about you liking somebody personally and all like that. It's really about what they're doing. So that's what we about to get into in this one, okay?
Fancy meeting you here. Come here often?
X, are you okay? This is X, and he's a great guy, high IQ. He's a high IQ individual.
And he's got this, check out this cool chain he's got.
So thank you very much. We had a busy day today. The king just left, and we We've had a great discussion, terrific discussion, concerning Gaza and everything else. We had discussions,
Exactly what I was talking about, bro.
and I think it's very important. And that's one of the reasons I got elected. I said, we're going to do that. Nobody had any idea it was that bad, that sick, and that corrupt. And it seems hard to believe that judges want to try and stop us from looking for corruption, especially when we found hundreds of millions of dollars worth, much more than that, in just a short period of time. And we want to weed out the corruption. And it seems hard to believe that a judge could say, we don't want you to do that. Well, so maybe we have to look at the judges, because that's a very serious, I think it's a very serious violation. I'll ask Elon Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions. Elon, go ahead.
Sure. So at a high level, if you say what is the goal of Doge, and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we would have to, if you sorry. I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there aren't there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you looked at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it's not. It does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And then we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking, because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million,
right,
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, if you look at, say, Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So
now, real quick, what I want y'all to pay attention to is he's sitting here breaking all this stuff down, right? Now, everybody is really upset about Elon and Doge and everything on what they are doing because they're literally going through the entire government's like spending, each department. They going through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they basically looking to see where is all this. Why do we have so much debt? Now remember, it was some information that came out that basically said they stopped a payment that was about to go over to Gaza for $50 million for condoms. Now, as we sit here listening to this, I want y'all to pay attention to everything that he sit here and says. And it just makes you sit back and it makes you think and wonder, why the hell is our government spending all of the taxpayer? Mind you, the government can only spend money because of what we give them. What we go to work, I'm talking about all the people that's struggling, everything, all the sales tax, income tax, property tax, effing air tax, trash tax, all of that. Our money go to them, and remind you, they sent all of our money in all these other places. So all these government officials is pissed because he's funding all of this. So just pay attention to that.
You can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization, so then you understand the motivations. So if people receive money, they don't complain, obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people. I mean, these things, like, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical, I think. It's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So,
transparency.
There's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, like, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. I'll tell you another crazy thing. So, one of the things is, like, we are actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we're told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical, I think. It's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there.
You already seen that
Case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. We are actually, I think, a great anecdote.
Okay, that's
because
just the video itself.
The most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And, like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government.
Wow.
And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Wow. Doesn't that sound crazy?
Wow.
There's like 1,000 people that work on this.
Right there, you got to say that's a wow. Because if Doge was never going through this entire process of going through every department, seeing where money is being spent, we would have never known about this. We would have never known that government officials can't even retire because they put their documentation that's on paper, they put it inside of a manila envelope and they send it down a mine. And the only way people can retire is the determining factor is an elevator. Like, that's not mind blowing to you. Like, you got to think about how much money is being spent just to do that, just to have people in there working. And on top of that, why isn't all this information electronic? Do y'all remember when it was a big deal when all of documentation far as with like doctor's office visits or the dentist and everything, they had to transfer everything over from you remember the folders that had all your information in it, and they had to transfer it all over to digital. Y'all remember that? Like it was 2025. So this started happening maybe like after like the 2008 crash or something. Like it was somewhere within that time frame, but they had to start transitioning everything over. So if all of them transferred everything over, why hasn't our government done the same? Like, that's just something for y'all to think about.
So I think the priority is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet, by the way. So are people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House. We won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No.
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. So, and the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not, what I mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained.
For instance, which the president, I know, has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest.
basically what they saying is, listen, we got everything out in front of y'all, right? Which is a good thing, because if you really think about it, everything that's transpired in the past, it's been a lot of, behind closed doors. Nobody knows what's going on. Basically, like, we just left out in the blind, and then news reporters all of a sudden throw out titles and everything like that, right? However, he's basically saying, yo, we putting everything out on Front Street. Everything is already transparent. So the policing comes in from the actual public. And then Trump basically reinforcing it, saying like, yo, we wouldn't even put them in that type of position. You know what I'm saying? If we wasn't being transparent. I honestly believe in that sense, it's just reassuring the public, basically like, yo, like, y'all tripping for nothing. You don't have to trip, because we wouldn't even put him in a situation to where basically like he would need to hide something. And then if you really think about it, I get what some people say about Elon. Like, they try to be upset about Elon, like, oh, you're a billionaire and get access to, our information and stuff. And hear me out here. He was the owner of PayPal. Bro, everybody used PayPal. Everybody. If you, before Amazon really got the hitting for real, I was an eBay person. And I never liked using my credit card information on the actual site itself. I use PayPal for sure. For sure. They have all your information there. They got your first name, last name. They got I think you got to put your social in there at one point for some type of verification. You put your credit card information in there, your debit card information, your home address. He has all your information already. And then on top of that, there's websites out there right now that has all of your information on there. Like, legit. So when people try to get so upset about Elon doing what he's doing, I mean, if you really think about it, it's really like a betterment for everything, because dude already rich. What else is he gonna do? I mean, because, like, come on, y'all. Like, for real. Let's say y'all become, I don't know, mega billionaires. And supposedly he's the richest dude on the planet, on paper, right? If you're the richest dude on the planet, what else is there for you to do? It's not like it's, oh, I need, so much more money. Because to do, it's like, bro, you if you think about it, you already won. Like, more money is not going to make you feel better. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you think about the whole purpose of money is really like a bartering of it's an exchange. But if I'm already the richest, I'm number one. If I got access to your payment information, hypothetically, do you really think I'm gonna care about what your little broke ass got? Like, just keeping it a buck. Like, Elon can call everybody broke. He can call Trump broke because Trump ain't got as much money as he does. So he can literally be like, yo, Trump, you broke. Like, be quiet, you broke. And what can anybody say? like real talk. So just think about it. Let me know. What do y'all think? Let me know.
And we watch that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this.
See?
Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be sent to them. And you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You got a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract, Now, normally, if you're in a small, in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big.
Yeah.
But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months. You know it's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, you know? They don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that, and even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be a deals made on both sides, you know, where the guy gets the money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
A tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts.
Yes.
So he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many.
So I'm gonna pause it right here. I definitely recommend that all of you go in, type the Elon Musk Oval Office and the full news conference. Definitely go in and watch that. Like, watch the full thing. Definitely watch the full thing, because basically what he's really just breaking down to indicate, you know, Doge is basically doing their job. Doge is going through, they finding the money. They finding where all the money at. They finding where it's going to. They find all the mismanagement of funds, because for so long our government has not been getting audited. They have not been showing where our money is going. We already know that we sent billions with a B. We sent billions over to Ukraine with a whole war and everything that was going on in Russia. All that money went over there. And while all of our own citizens have been suffering, dealing with everything that has been going on here, inflation and everything else that came along with it, you know, the jobs, there's not enough. Well, there are enough jobs, but they've been saying that jobs increase, but yet they overestimated about 800,000, you know, so it's a lot of issues there.